Okay. Shalom, good morning. We are in Scenic Bays up to Sifyud Bays. Ilan Shishomim Peroisa La'asos Behem Shechar Lushtoso B'Yom Chagam. If they have a tree which again they used to make shechar out of fruit, dates, or out of figs and things. If they're shomer the pears to go ahead and to make, make alcohol, liquor, or whatever for, their holiday. B'yadua shehi ashera. It tells you this is a siman that is an ashera. Which I don't. It's not looking nowadays bad sim unless maybe you're in the Far East or something. You're in Africa, I don't know, whatever. Kopanim, this is a siman that the tree itself is for the zar. You gimel. Ilane Srak, Pirush Ilanois, Shein Oisim Paris, right? Any regular trees or whatever. Shirigilin Lita Bifnei Elilim, that they plant before Elilim. Lo Gorer Minor Elilim Va'aser. If they plant them in front of, they have a nice garden with trees, right? With the. Often they even have gardens with the pestle right in the middle, fancy gardens with the pestle right in the middle and stuff or whatever. All those trees are considered noi, and they're also maybe also bahana to go ahead and to use or we'll see we'll see about going there, looking at it, things like that. We're getting there. Yudalit merchatz sheish ba'ilili. If you have a bathhouse that has ililim or bathroom. Whatever. We'll see. Mutter lichotzba. You can go ahead and take go to the bath there. It's just there as a noi, not a noi. It's not there to be worshipped. It's a noi of the merchatz. It's v'lola avda. It's based on the Mishnah in the Avodah Zarah that Rabbi Gamliel was in a bathhouse b'shem Aphrodite. It's a Mishnah. And so you have the whole discussion in there with the philosopher. The whole discussion in the Mishnah, he had a discussion with the philosopher. And they said, so the Gemara asked, well, how could he go there? So the Gemara says, because the pestle of Aphrodite was on top of the bib, was on top of the top of the urinals. So therefore, it's not. It wasn't bechavod. So therefore, it was. We'll see in a second. That's the makor. So it's saying the shem noiv lo la'avda shenever Elohim bizman shenogim ba'milig Elohus. When they treat it as something to be worshipped. Lo bizman shemevazim Isa. You're going zu sheyomedes halabib. Right. It's by the drain. It's like the sewage, by the toilet. Right. So v'chol mishtanim befaneha. Mashtinim befaneha ve'im haya derech avodas v'kach. Unless this is like balpo or something. This is the avoda also. Then it would be also, but otherwise that's not whatever. I remember it was in the driving through a few years back, driving through the desert inside of LA, and they had this rest stop or whatever, and in the bathroom there, they have little screens, so little screens so you can play games or whatever while you're using the. I guess they have their avodas there also. They keep it in mind the whole time. I don't know. A tesvav. This is actually an important sif. Also lishma kli shir elilim. It's also to listen to music of elilim or histakel b'noi elilim, or to look at the noi of elilim. You mentioned about the trees or gardens. It's also to look at the noi, or you mentioned about going into a fancy, peeking in. You didn't go into the church, right? Be a fancy chapel and this and whatever. And you just peek in to see the whatever. It's also listakel b'noi elilim. Kivan shenane b'reiyah, since you are nane b'reiyah. There's so shmiya and reiyah. Well, it's also reach. Also, the Gemara talks about reach. Taurus is also nane. But if you're walking, you're walking down the street and you happen to see a beautiful stained glass window, and okay, you saw it, and you realize what it was. So then you move on. That you can't control everything, but if you walk by quickly, but if you stop and gaze at it, I didn't realize, whatever. You try to close your nose, you try to close your ears, whatever you can. So that's what you should do. So Ramesh has a tshuva saying straight out that listening to songs which were based in in church songs and religious songs and things or whatever, are also to hear. It says pasha, to sing, to hear. He says it's from Shutim. Look at the tshuva. He says anything coming from that, nigunim coming from that, is definitely also. If you, yeah, like for example, my wife was once saying like different words, like a kid's singing the song. I told her I remember the song. Like I remember hearing the real song, glory, glory, whatever. If you know what it is, and she didn't know. I said, you can't sing that. You can't use that tune. You can't, even if it's like, I guess if it's mamish mevaza, I don't know. If you change the words to mevaza levozar, maybe, I don't know. But you can't sing those tunes even if you're whatever. And, to say here, people don't know, to make a machal, let's say you go to a chasna and you hear them playing, we hear some people said on a bell here, they heard, playing, Kratzvich songs. So I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm saying like the real religious ones, let's say. So then, to say fine, tinuk shenishba, beseder, but who wants to be a tinuk shenishba? It's not. But if you show you, maybe you could say that. But I think it's right to speak up and there to swell. Now, Kratzvich songs, so I was by a chasna where they were playing jingle bells. So. So I saw Rav Leff. I saw like a letter from Rav Leff saying it's just about. It's nothing religious about it. It's just a holiday song. It's Bechor Adavar.
Most holiday songs are written by Jews.
Right. That's also true. It's also true. People. You need parnasa. What do you want? So, no. So like the holiday, just usually about winter and this and whatever. It's a holiday. It's most Adavar. You see, I'm talking about Isser. This is just. It's very musim, whatever, but it's not. It's not that. Okay, it's stop and play. It's Malsa Davar. You should tell them. I don't know, whatever. So listen, but it's not. But it's. It's not. It's not the same. The same Isser. Now the thing is, there's a couple other nukudas here. A couple of nukudas about the Sefer Chassidim. It's talking Dr. Yoreh quotes the Sefer Chassidim. So the person has to be very careful not to sing any of these types of songs, like non-Jewish songs, whatever, to their kids. Today's the Mazkir. Today's the Erev Din on Paris. That's what Shlomo says. From the Sukul Daven for your kids. So it says you need to be very careful. It says that the Gemara says in Chagiga, the very quick Musar, it says that Acher he used to listen to Yevani songs. He said, Yosef Chassidim says that music has is poil to grow up singing it, and then Nimshach Acherizeh. A person should be careful. So there's there's a kid song that often people sing. It's Frère Jacques. It's a French song. It means Father John. Talks about the Father John get up in the church or the monk or I don't know, whatever. I don't know if it says anything religious, but you're talking about a galach. Not. I wouldn't sing that song to your kids. There's a lot of. Besides all the violent songs that all the if you pay attention to a lot of the songs, like say the ring around the rosy or whatever it is, it was a song about the Black Plague, so and how everyone died, whatever. But I'll put in. Not to go too far off, but the Birkei Yosef here brings that. Again, it's also, he says clear. It's also clear. It's also to go into a church about the Avodah Zarah, to go ahead and look at the noi, and he says, he says that the question is, can you look at pictures on the wall? It's a halacha brought in the Hilchos Shabbos. Pictures were said even David and Goliath, and it's a Gemara or it's Taisus, whatever that says what it is. Is there a problem? So it brings to the Rabbaz. It's a machlokes. The Rabbaz says you should be. It's Rashi. The Rashi in the view says that the problem is looking at the picture. The other Rishonim holds only if it's actually worshipped. It's a problem. Looking at Avodah Zarah is a problem. Rashi's mashma, even just looking at the picture, whatever's gonna draw you away is aser. Rabban says it's glad to be machmer, even though really Pashas is halacha. It's not like Rashi, But
Religious painting.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not the tznius stick, not pizza stick, so you shouldn't look at it. Last Supper and all of these things and all that, whatever. You shouldn't look at it. You shouldn't definitely. That's definitely. Yeah, the sif. It's a hana of looking at Noah, even though it's not. They don't worship it exactly, but according to at least it's Pirkei Yosef, it's very very lahachmer.
Even things from Tanakh. Also.
No, so Tanakh is really something yeah. So that already is a machlok. That depends on the interpretation. That already is a machlokes. Okay, that already could be to be mekel, but something which was definitely, art, which is you shouldn't. Right. The Shach seems to get right. Okay, the Shach and Echanami seems to be. It doesn't say like the Birkei Yosef quotes the Radak, b'Hagaosav. So it could be the Shach is a little more makel in Echanami. He says Otzuros Shinasu L'Noi. I don't know if it's allowed again to walk. The case of the Birkei is to look into a church. If you look at a picture, look at the outside. It could be it's not. Again, not. There's varying degrees. The outside.
Going into a church.
Yeah, he's not going in, peeking in. Stakel behind liros. Or maybe I don't know if it's looking into a church. Maybe it's on the outside. You go to the right. If you go to you go to the Vatican City, right? You go around there and all these, they have all these, statues and stuff, and I don't know what. So could be it's referring to that, not necessarily inside the actual Sistine Chapel or anything like that. Whatever. Fine. Kufem Gimel. Someone whose house is borders on like they use the wall, they share a wall. Chasva is a shayla. You have to look into it. Someone told me like was it Beethoven, Bach? I don't remember who was made a lot of the music for the church, but it wasn't. I don't know. You'd have to. I don't know. It's a good shayla. I don't know. Misha Beis Samach LaBeis Lilim and Nafal Aser, someone whose house is to share a wall to the to a church. Let's say you have a townhouse or things, whatever, and they share a wall. So also in Nafal, and that wall fell. Also Livnoisai, you can't build the wall. You can't rebuild the wall. Kate said, yeah. So what do? You even though you lose a bit of property, but you should bring it into your property and build it. But also a revach imalo kotzim otzoa. Then you put the Gemara says that the brings the Gemara. The Gemara brings the Gemara says that they made into a bathroom for kids. So whatever you feel that the Kadesh lo Yarchiv v'Beis Liliums and they won't expand out. If the wall was his, if it was shutfim. Yido mechzel mechzel. In general, the halacha is, and Mishnah Bavitzi, whatever, it says that if there's shutrim in the wall, so if when it falls, then you each get half. And so really, the same thing over here, you get half. Shalom moter b'hana. His bricks or his side, if he knows which side it is moter b'hana. Shelilim also. If you made a makir, but if he can't figure out which is which, hakol also b'hana. It's avana ve'etza ve'efro. All the dust and everything that fell is also. He can sell them his chelik, take the bricks and things, whatever, and that would be okay.
Why is that before they sell them stuff?
No, but here once it's a hefsed, it's like, but yeah, that's once it's already, you shouldn't sell them stuff, but once it's already, it's like we had a case by Yain Nesech, you're allowed to. Like if they were mastered it already, if they already touched it, then you're allowed to sell it to not to get a hefsed. Beis also livnois ima ovikachavim. It's also to keep a shmaminim ba'elilim. You can't build a dome where they put in elilim ve'im avar ubana. But and if you talk built vafilu avos kachavim asma. Even if you made an actual avodah zara, schar mutter. His schar is mutter. The shachs tries to figure it out. Like what's pshat? It's tamua. That Ayin Sham, it's whatever. It's a discussion here. I didn't go into the whole discussion about but it seems it's a bit of a machlokes. Garbing's machlokes. It's a it's a machlokes Rashi Taisus, whatever. So we pass like one side. What the svara is. So again, it could be once it's done already, you can still take schar. Because that's not hana, it's not chalifin. Schar is not a chalifin of the money. Once you built it, you shouldn't do it, but you did it. You're allowed to take your schar. Okay. So that gets into the uman shvach, whatever. It gets into the things in the Choshen Mishpat, probably about whether uman konim shvach kli, things like that. But you're allowed to build it l'chachila, a traklim or a chatzar sheish ba'oisa kippah. But you're allowed to build like the building around it or the all these things that you're allowed to build l'chachila. It is mutter. It's technically mutter. Yeah. Fine. Gimel. Hayel leading gino merchatz. So the Avodah Zarah has a nice garden or bathhouse. Hatova hayotzes mehem hilo kohanim mutter lehanos mehem. And the tova, which comes out of it, is for the kohanim. It's mutter lehanos mehem shelo b'tova, but also lehanos mehem b'tova. So I'll start off with machlokes Rashi Taisus and I'll bring down that Rashi says Hatova. The Gemara says Hatova. The Rashi says Hatova is schar. You pay to get in, entrance fee. The Taisus of Tam says no, it's not an entry. That's Pashut Tzasser. He says the Tova over here is you machzik lehem Tova. You thank them. They have made such a beautiful garden. You feel good about the fact that they beautified the area, things like that. And that's how the Mishnah Melech explains it. That you made a, you machzik lehem Tova, good job. So that if it's to the Kohanim, so the Mechaber seems to go like Rashi. So let's go with Rashi first. If the money goes straight to the Kohanim, then you're allowed to go. If it's free, then you can go in and you can wander and you can walk around and enjoy it.
Like a suggested donation?
Yeah, Beka Pauline made it Cholamori, it's only made it free. They do a lot of free things Cholamori, so whatever. Someone else made, they make it free. So it's also Lehanas Behem Betova, but it's also Lehanas Behem Betova. But feel Yeshla Achein Chedek Betova Yom Kohanim, even if there's a shutfus, it's still aser. V'im ein hatova yotzes behem lekohanim. If the schar, let's say, the entrance fee doesn't go to the kohanim elolo of deha, but it doesn't go to the actual priest. It goes to the oivdim. Now it doesn't mean the workers. It means the other people, the other worshippers, or goes for the upkeep of the crowns. Whatever it is, they're mutter. Lehanas behem. Afilu betova. Afilu hagina v'merchatz elin levada. Even if it's only built for that. Some say it's not aser if it's elika shehem ondim bechotzer avodas chavim atzma. This is the explanation of Rabbeinu Tam. That only if they're standing in the actual chotzer and you're like, you want to give them thank you so much, karasato, whatever it is, that's a problem. But if not standing there, even if person feels good about it, mutter lehanas mimena. It's still mutter get hana imlo shatova laavodas kochavim atzma. As long as it's not you're saying, well, person feels, I'm happy that there's that they built this temple here because it's beautiful grounds. Then it should be also. The Rama says you could be samich lahakel, but obviously the chachila you should. It's kedai. It's kedai b'machmer even in that situation. Someone asked about the Baha'i gardens, and So I just looked quickly what it is. It's an offshoot or some sort of offshoot of Islam. It's not actual Avodah Zarah. It's some sort of offshoots from Islam or something. I mean, it's not mamish Islam. It's like beyond Islam, whatever it is. It's sort of like Jews for J, whatever it is. It's an offshoot of Islam, and it's not actual Avodah Zarah. It's just they took from Islam and they made it weird. I don't know. Yeah, that too. The whole point is peace and whatever. So that's why they don't like them. I don't know. Listen. When I say for sure that it's a good thing to go in, I have no idea. But l'chara, it's not usher midin to go around the gardens. L'chara. And also, I'll just bring up one other thing which is important. The person should think about it. Is this is a guideline also for any Shiloh, the person doesn't want to get hana from something. I get a little Shiloh here of getting hana from places trope on Shabbos and things, whatever. So this would also give you guidelines as to what is actually asur b'hana or not. You have to know the mitzias and the place and whatever. If it's not asur b'hana, I'm saying a person wants to be machar himself not to get hana, then, or he makes a neder, we'll see by Hilchos Nadarim, then this would be a guideline, depends where the money goes to and not, and different things. Dalid, Chalilim Shalilim, also Lisboy Bahem, Chalilim of Lilim, you want to, it's also to Lisboy Bahem, and this is, right, and so to take their actual Chalilim is also, or other musical instruments, you want to borrow the church organ, I don't know, whatever. Hey, Chanuyo Shalilim, if the store is of Elilim, also liskor mehem, you can't buy anything there. So you had the Shaila about going to Korea, and they had the lanterns there. So if it goes directly to their Avodah Zarah, then you can't buy it.
So liskor is for rent.
Yeah, liskor, whatever, same idea. Ve'im noifel haschar leMedina, but if the money goes to the country, ve'hem konim sarchehem shari, it goes to a central pot, and the Medina, you know they're going to go ahead and support the temples because of it. That's still okay. If there's a middleman involved, like there's a city, there's a whatever, so that's okay. You don't have to be choshish for that. Gabayim shenoitlim mechas lilim also litedahem if they go around collecting for their avodah zarah and it's a tax and they have to give, it's also litedahem. That's pikuach nefesh. I don't know if it's a visvayo, I'm not sure. Let's get into that haga. V'chein bekan eno also el kishenoifel hasrar letzarchi avodas kachavim. Again, it's the same thing. Only if the tax goes directly to Avodah Zarah Atma. If it goes to the religious, even though the country is religious, even if they're going to buy and beautify the temples with it, that's okay. It's a grama, it's whatever. Even if they're collecting a tax for temples and churches, whatever it is. But since it's not going directly, so then it's mutter. It is mutter to give.
On that